Oh, welcome to Toronto Maple Leafs Baseball on YouTube. Thomas West here. It's the Toronto Maple Leafs and Kitchener Panthers tonight here at Dominico Field. The Maple Leafs on a 2-game losing streak, but just 2 wins in their last 8 games. In fact, the last one against the Kitchener Panthers last time these two teams met. And for the Kitchener Panthers, they're on a 5-game losing streak, so a tale of 2 teams that are trying to get back on track. With more on this one, here's Noam Streifer.
Thanks, Thomas. Entering tonight, the Leafs are on a 2-game losing streak, and their last win came against these very same Kitchener Panthers. There's a lot of similarities between tonight's game and that game. Tonight, we have Luis Florentino taking the mound for the Leafs. He pitched last against the Kitchener Panthers in that win for the Leafs. He pitched relatively well, throwing 5 innings, allowing just 2 runs and striking out 4. The other big performer that night was Dennis Debanning. Debanning was great that night with 3 hits, one of those being a home run and driving in 4 runs on the night. Last time we were here, Thomas and I got the opportunity to talk to Debanning post-game. He was talking a little bit about his hot streak, and when he's at his best, he does a really great job of sitting on that fastball, being able to make the adjustment to the curveball and the changeup. But I can only really summarize so much, so I'm going to send it over to Debanning right now.
Joined now by Dennis Debanning for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Dennis, just to get the home run today, the hot streak, how you feeling at the plate?
I feel pretty good, man. Obviously, it's been a little bit of I would say a cold stretch after I started off hot, but just a few adjustments, and it's working for me right now, so we'll keep it going.
So you've been taking the ball a lot the other way. I know that's something that you do really well, but when you're hitting home runs, you're pulling the baseball out. What's that approach kind of like for you at the plate?
I stick to the same approach always. I guess, I don't even know. I just swing the bat and it just happens, you know? I just try to sit on the fastball and then react to the curve, and I feel like it's been working for me. Yeah.
And I know this hasn't been the best run for the team, which kind of puts a bit of a damper on the good day for you, but tell me, what are the vibes in that locker room right now? Are people worried, or is there confidence that this team's going to turn it around?
In a way, we always trust in one another. Everyone in this roster has each other's backs, no matter what. Ups and downs, that's what the season's for, right? Our goal is the playoffs at the end of the day, so we go through the lows now, and then we'll figure it out. I'm not worried. I don't think anyone else is worried, so we're all right.
And so at bat where you hit the home run, I was noticing you had killed 2 foul balls and then you spat on the slider on the outside half. What sort of adjustments did you have to make in that at bat?
Every time I step up to the plate, I try to attack early. I had a couple of conversations with my guys that are close to me. They're saying you're at best when you attack the count early. Try not to get behind the count, and I don't know, it's just been working for me, man. He just, I guess, hung one, and I just took advantage of it. He made a mistake, I took advantage. So, yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, good stuff there from Dennis Debanning. We'll take a quick break now. Here's the national anthems.
Our home and native land, true patriot love, in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Well, although it is a losing streak for this Kitchener Panther team, there is some positives if you look at their last couple games. Well, positives are maybe a little bit of heartbreak as well. This is what they've been doing against some of the best teams in the Intercounty Baseball League, London, Welland, and Barrie. A 1-0 loss against the London Majors. The Welland Jackfish beat them by 1 run as well. A couple tough games there. And then against the Barrie Baycats, they lose by 4, but they hang in tough right until the very end. And this is a Kitchener Panther team that it feels like is on the verge of breaking through, but the Toronto Maple Leafs are hoping that they don't catch them at that breakthrough right now, because they really need a win themselves. One guy the Maple Leafs will have to watch for in the Kitchener Panthers lineup, Matteo Zeppieri, who hit IBL career home run number 1 and 2 last game against Barrie.
Zeppieri puts a charge into that one. High and deep and gone. Matteo Zeppieri goes yard. 3-1 Kitchener. The 0-1 is popped high and deep, and it is gonna go. A home run for Matteo Zeppieri. He double dips, and the Panthers are down by 4.
Starting to see that power bat come around, and good things to come.
So maybe Matteo Zeppieri is hot right now. He's hitting in the 2 spot today for the Kitchener Panthers. As we take a look at the lineup, the veteran shortstop Jordan Mandalay is leading things off, followed by Zeppieri, who's in left field. The number 3 hitter, Yosvani Penalve, who's also been excellent this season for the Kitchener Panthers. He's batting 3rd. Junior Ibarra, the catcher, who seems to hit well against the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's in the cleanup spot, followed by a former Toronto Maple Leafs and Charlie Tower, a guy with a lot of power in his bat. Yusuke Fuji is playing 3rd base. And then the bottom 3 in the lineup, Osawa, Karasis, and Kairos, who's the DH today for the Kitchener Panthers. So the Toronto Maple Leafs trying to get a bit of momentum against a team that's a lot further down in the standings than the Kitchener Panthers, but the Maple Leafs have been slipping a little bit themselves as well. 3 games under 500 right now. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Toronto Maple Leafs as well. Expecting some newcomers coming soon, but a lot of familiar faces in the lineup tonight if you've been watching Maple Leafs baseball over the last few games. And the Maple Leafs, who have lost 6 consecutive games at home, trying to roll out this lineup and see if they can't get themselves a win. Ryan Dos Santos is leading things off and playing left field, so Dos Santos is back in the outfield. That's because Chad Picton has moved back to 3rd base. John Javier is the catcher today. He's batting 2nd. And then Jordan Castaldo, who's off his feet in the DH spot, batting 3rd. Dennis DeBanning, who's been hitting the ball very well of late. We talked about him earlier on, seeing the ball really well. Had a home run last time he was here at Christie Pitch. Justin Mara is the 1st baseman. Chad Picton at 3rd base, batting 6th. And then the bottom 3 in the lineup, Aiden McCaskey, who's back with the Toronto Maple Leafs, just started his season a couple weeks ago. Dan Mara, the all-star at 2nd base, and Spencer Ross, who's been doing a nice job for the Maple Leafs at shortstop, was really good defensively as well, and he's been doing a really good job just getting on base for his team. He is batting 9th for the Maple Leafs and trying to spark something. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back for first pitch.
Get ready, Hamilton. It's the 2025 IBL Home Run Derby and All-Star Game. Hosted by the Hamilton Cardinals at beautiful Bernie Arbor Stadium. Watch the league's top sluggers crush moonshots in the Derby. Then see the best of the best go head-to-head under the lights in the All-Star Game. Grab your tickets now at HamiltonCardinals.com, because this summer, the stars shine brightest in Hamilton.
Luis Florentino on the mound for the Toronto Maple Leafs has been excellent. Also looking forward to going to the All-Star game where he will pitch on Sunday in Hamilton. Comes in with an ERA of 2.26. Last pitched in a little bit of a bullpen get warmed up for this start day against the London Majors. But before that, his last start against the Kitchener Panthers, where he went 5 innings, allowed just 2 earned runs and 7 hits, only walked 1. So Luis Florentino, he's a fireballer. Justin Mara, who's at first base today but catches Florentino regularly, said that his fastball is heavy and has a little bit of a rise to it when it comes out of his hand. So that's what the Kitchener Panthers are going to have to deal with today. Jordan Mandalay is going to lead things off. Mandalay is hitting .327 on the season for the Kitchener Panthers. Has been a steady force at the top of the lineup. Mandalay takes the first pitch to left. Right in his tracks, Ryan Dos Santos makes the catch, and there's one away. Great starting pitching matchup we have today with Luis Florentino on the side for the Toronto Maple Leafs. On the other side, it's Yadian Martinez, who the Maple Leafs have seen quite a bit of in the past. His ERA of 5.71 on the season. Has pitched a lot this year for the Kitchener Panthers. He'll be coming up in the bottom half of the inning. Another swing. This time it's Matteo Zeppieri, who's about as red hot as they get. 2 for 4 last game, but both hits home runs in the loss against the Barrie Baycats. Kitchener Panthers went on to lose that game 8-4. They've lost 5 in a row. But they're probably looking at the Toronto Maple Leafs, seeing a team that's been on a bit of a losing skid as well, and trying to take advantage of that and get back in the win column. If you look at their recent games where they had 1-run games against the top 2 teams in the Intercounty Baseball League, lots of positives to draw on from that. 0-2 now on Zeppieri. He takes outside, way outside from Florentino. That one skipped off the glove of John Javier. John Javier plays just about anywhere for the Toronto Maple Leafs, whether it be at third base, which is the position he got voted in on the All-Star ballot, in the outfield, or behind the plate, which is his natural position. The 1-2. Line to center field. Back goes Dennis DeBanning towards the wall, and he makes the catch. Zeppieri put another charge in it, kind of like he did in his last at-bat against Barrie in Kitchener. But this time, DeBanning able to track it down. Svani Panalve has also been great for the Kitchener Panthers this season. He's hitting .343. He's driven in 18 runs. He's hit a lot in the 2 spot, but with Zeppieri being red hot, getting bumped up in the lineup. And Panalve, who might be the best hitter on the team, is batting third. Here's the 1-0 from Florentino. Panalve hits this one on the ground. Dan Mara comes over, flips it to first, and that'll do it. A clean 1-2-3 first inning for Luis Florentino and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And the bottom half coming up, the bats for the Maple Leafs.
To be the best, you've got to bring performance from every second. The game is getting faster every season. So Rawlings made a time machine to help you keep up. Introducing the all-new Velo ACP. It's light, it's balanced, so you can pick your pitch and drive the ball with maximum exit velocity. The game's gotten faster. Your bat has too.
Get ready, Hamilton. It's the 2025 IBL Home Run Derby and All-Star Game. Hosted by the Hamilton Cardinals at beautiful Bernie Arbor Stadium. Watch the league's top sluggers crush moonshots in the Derby. Then see the best of the best go head-to-head under the lights in the All-Star Game. Grab your tickets now at HamiltonCardinals.com. Because this summer, the stars shine brightest in Hamilton.
Back here at Dominico Field, Toronto Maple Leafs got a nice clean inning from Luis Florentino, a couple flyouts and a ground out. Only needed 7 pitches to get out of the top half of the first inning, and Ryan Dos Santos is leading things off for the Maple Leafs here in the bottom of the first. Yadier Martinez on the mound for the Kitchener Panthers. Has pitched in 48 2/3 innings for Kitchener this season. On pace to surpass what he did last season, 76 2/3 in the regular season for the Panthers. And this is 3rd season with Kitchener. The 1-0 to Santos, and he fouls it off. Yadier Martinez last pitched against the Hamilton Cardinals, who was part of an 18-0 loss for the Kitchener Panthers, but Martinez was only responsible for 6 of those runs over the 5 innings that he pitched, and he struck out 9 in those 5 innings as well. 1-1 pitch upstairs to Dos Santos. Ryan Dos Santos was 0-2 with 3 walks in the Maple Leafs' last game against the London Majors. That was here on Sunday at Christie Pitts. And he's working towards another one as well as he works it to 3-1. Dos Santos with 35 walks on the season, leads the Intercounty Baseball League. An on-base percentage of .458. The 3-1 pitch is low, ball 4. Ryan Dos Santos with walk number 36 heads down to first base. Well, Ryan Dos Santos gets on base a lot. He does it with the walks. John Javier, a lot of the time, does it with the hits, 35 of them in the 20-game hit streak that he has going on right now. Trying to get on for Jordan Castaldo. John Javier's hitting .385 on the season for the Maple Leafs. He's only walked 5 times all season. We've seen him swing early in the count quite often. This time he takes strike 1 from Martinez. Dos Santos with lots of speed on first base. Not going though, and takes low and outside, does John Javier. .12 stolen bases on the season for Dos Santos. Javier chops one right at home plate. This is a fair ball. Throw to first in time. John Javier grounds back to the pitcher, Martinez, but Ryan Dos Santos does move into scoring position for Jordan Castaldo. .499 career RBIs for Castaldo, but still looking for his first one in the month of July. Good chance to do it here. Looked a little bit better though last time out against London. Walked 3 times, was 1 for 2, had some really good plate appearances, and takes outside ball 1. Dennis DeBanning, who's also been red hot, is on deck. So the Maple Leafs have two great chances to take a 1-0 lead here against Martinez and the Kitchener Panthers. Castaldo takes outside again. Counts 2-0. Yeah, the air quality over the last 3 days in Toronto has been some of the worst in the world. You can feel it. It's smoggy. It's hot. It felt a little bit fresher when there was a bit of wind coming through. Now that's died down. 2-0 pitch. That's low. The Maple Leafs, the fans, and the players, most importantly the players, hoping that the thunderstorms that are on the horizon in Toronto today stay away until this game is over. The 3-0 to Castaldo. And he takes a strike. Hitters count to one of the best in the IBL, and he fouls it off down the left field line. Now Jordan Castaldo is in a full count. Martinez went down 3-0, and he's worked it back to 3-2. Ryan Dos Santos out at second base, trying to score the first run of the ball game for the Maple Leafs if Castaldo can find some outfield grass. The 3-2. Castaldo takes inside ball 4, so the RBI will have to wait, but the Maple Leafs are okay with that because they've got another runner on for Dennis DeBanning. It kind of felt like Dennis DeBanning's hot streak started against the Kitchener Panthers in a game in Kitchener on July 6th. The Maple Leafs won that game. It was DeBanning's home run who won the ball game. He had 4 RBIs that game. Well, he did the same thing against London last time out. Now he chops on the ground. This one's to second. Not enough to turn the double play, so DeBanning's throwing out at first base. And now 2 in scoring position for the Maple Leafs, and here's Justin Mara. Ryan Dos Santos 90 feet away, Jordan Castaldo at second. Justin Mara is hitting .260 on the season for the Maple Leafs. Went 1 for 5 in his last game against London, but had 3 RBIs the game before that against the Welland Jackfish. That came on a home run. Mara takes just outside ball 1. Chad Picton is on deck, the third baseman for the Maple Leafs, hopeful of an at-bat here in the first. Mara takes a strike just a little bit closer to the plate that time and counts 1-1. Here's the 1-1 to Mara, up and away. Two and one now, the count on the Maple Leafs first baseman. Mara swings and misses, the count now 2-2. A gutsy pitch there by Yadier Martinez as he goes off speed behind in the count. Now he's leveled at 2. Kind of interesting to see Danny Garcia warming up in the bullpen for the Kitchener Panthers. Yadier Martinez has started half the games that he's pitched this season. He usually goes pretty deep into the ballgame when he's starting. The 2-2. Mara chops it on the ground. This is a little squibber right back to the mound. No runs coming to score, but Justin Mara is safe at first base. And he'll take it. That's a base hit, and the bases are loaded for the Leafs. Boy, Justin Mara just pounded that ball into the ground right out in front of home plate. He's got a big smile on his face because he knows he didn't make great contact with that baseball, but it's good enough to get on. Keeps the line moving, and here comes Chad Picton. This was a favorable spot for Picton last game. He came up with the bases loaded and was able to drive in a run. That was early on in the ball game as well. Last game against London. See if he can replicate that here against Yadier Martinez, swinging at the first pitch, and he fouls it off, and fouled it right off the foot of the catcher, Junior Ibarra, who is hobbling a bit as he takes a walk. Home plate umpire will give him some time behind home plate. That's Chris Groen, who's behind home plate. Rob Butler down at third base, giving some signs to his hitter, Chad Picton. With 2 outs and the bases loaded, you'd think the game plan is just try and get a hit. The 0-1. This one's tapped on the ground to third. Santos trying to make a play there on the base path. Picton is 1 for 9 to start out his Maple Leafs career. In an 0-2 hole here against Martinez. And he fouls it off. Late on the fastball, but able to reach out and get a piece and stay alive. Aiden McCaskey is on deck for the Maple Leafs. The 0-2. Picton takes high. Chad Picton, before coming to the Maple Leafs, was playing baseball out in Tennessee with Tennessee Wesleyan. That's in the NAIA. The 1-2. Picton hits this one on the ground to third base, and that one sneaks through. A run comes in to score for the Maple Leafs. All hands will hold at their stations. It's 1-0 Toronto, and Chad Picton comes through early on again. Well, Picton has got his second hit as a Maple Leaf. Both of his hits have cashed in a run, so he's doing it in timely spots. And now here's Aiden McCaskey, who's had a good start to his season with the Maple Leafs. He's 3 for 8. He's also driven in a run. That came last game on a single like Chad Picton's, but Aiden McCaskey's single last game was off the wall out and right. So with the bases loaded too, and believe it or not, it only drove in 1. McCaskey takes outside 2-0, and this is becoming a very favorable matchup for Aiden McCaskey and the Maple Leafs. Ahead in the count with the bases loaded. Yadier Martinez is going to have to come after him here on the 2-0 pitch. McCaskey fouls it off. Got a pitch he liked, took a big cut at it. Now it's 2-1. A couple batters ago, Yadier Martinez was not afraid to throw a breaking ball behind in the count to Justin Mara. Wonder if he goes back to it here in a little bit more dire spot against Aiden McCaskey. Here it is. McCaskey loops this one foul towards third, and luckily for Aiden, that one will sneak out of play. Yusuke Fuji, who's over there at third base, gave it a look, but it was about 10 feet out of play down the left field line. Mandalay, Towers, and Karasis round out the infield for the Kitchener Panthers. The 2-2 in the dirt, sneaks through Junior Ibarra, but he blocked just enough of it to keep Jordan Castaldo at third base. That ball probably would have had to make it all the way to the backstop to get the veteran Jordan Castaldo in from third. One run already in for the Maple Leafs. That came on a Chad Picton single. Aiden McCaskey trying to make this one a much more memorable inning for the Maple Leafs. The 3-2 hit on the ground. A high chop to Charlie Towers. He throws to first in time. That's a big out for the Kitchener Panthers. The Maple Leafs with a whole ton of pressure in the first inning. But Yadier Martinez is able to limit the damage, and the Maple Leafs get just one. They lead 1-0 over Kitchener as we head to the second. Junior Ibarra leading things off for the Kitchener Panthers, facing Luis Florentino, who's only had to throw 7 pitches in this ball game so far. 6 strikes, 1 ball. Great first inning for Florentino. Ibarra takes a strike on the inner half. Junior Ibarra hitting .282 on the season for Kitchener Panthers. He's got 2 home runs on the season, does Ibarra, as he takes the ball. Actually, that one was a strike on the outer half. Both home runs against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, so he hasn't hurt the Toronto Maple Leafs yet. The 0-2 in the dirt. Ibarra has been a workhorse behind the plate for the Kitchener Panthers. Catches almost every game. He's played in 27 of them this season, 103 at-bats. Florentino's 1-2. Lined into the outfield. This ball is dropping and it'll fall down the line. It skips away from McCaskey by no fault of his own. He does get it in quickly, though, and holds Ibarra to a single. Yeah, that ball took a big right-hand bounce as soon as it fell in front of McCaskey. It rolled into foul territory. But McCaskey stayed with it as Ibarra took a huge turnaround first base. Now it's the former Maple Leaf, Charlie Towers, hitting .208 on the season for the Panthers. Towers takes inside, ball one. Couple hits for Charlie Towers over the busy weekend for the Kitchener Panthers. They had 3 games in 3 days. One was against London, another against Welland. But other than that, hasn't really found a way to get the bat going, at least like it was against or for the Toronto Maple Leafs last season. Hit .291 for Toronto. He was excellent all season long. The 2-0. In there for a strike. Now Towers takes upstairs 3-1. A check down to both third and second base to see if Towers went. Both umpires said he did not. Florentino will need to attack Charlie Towers with this 3-1 pitch. But he missed inside, ball 4. Florentino kind of wanted it. You could see by his expression on the mound. And here come the Kitchener Panthers with 2 on and nobody out in the second inning. So that's going to bring the power-hitting third baseman to the dish, Yosuke Fuji, and he swings and misses at the first one. Fuji came out of the gates really hot with a bunch of home runs to start the season. Took a while for him to get number 7 on the year. That was against the Welland Jackfish. He got it over the weekend. The 0-1 pitch just misses outside. Kitchener Panthers were very happy to see that. Before that, his last home run about a month ago, back on June 19th, yet still one of the league leaders in the Intercounty Baseball League. That's how good Fuji was to start the season. Now Kitchener hoping that home run against the Jackfish gets him going just like he was at the start of the year. Fuji takes a strike. Yosuke Fuji has played in 24 games for the Kitchener Panthers. He's hitting .291 on the season, but with an OPS still just under 1,000. The 1-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Big punch out for Luis Florentino. There's one away. Ruta Osawa comes to the plate now. A lot more manageable situation for Florentino as he's got an out in the inning. Just one in scoring position for Kitchener as Osawa scoring to bunt, but he takes low. That's ball 1. Osawa, another bat that the Kitchener Panthers are looking to get going again. Hitless in his last 4 games. The 1-0. Scoring to bunt again. He gets a good one down the third baseline, but that one's going to roll into foul territory. Looked like it was on line to just dance along the chalk line, but didn't have the right spin on it to keep it fair. Still could be bunting. He squared to bunt on the first 2 pitches, but it counts 1-1. Osawa was 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts last game against the Barrie Baycats. Maybe trying to get a bunt down. Just try and help out the team in this situation. This time he's swinging and he gets into this ball. Hit pretty well, but Aiden McCaskey is going to make the catch right in front of the wall. Ibarra makes it to third base, but now there's 2 away in the inning. That was a pretty good swing there from Osawa. Needed about 4 more feet of distance to get Aiden McCaskey back to the wall. So this is the number 8 hitter in AJ Carosis. He's the first baseman today for Kitchener. Carosis foul tips the first one into the glove of John Javier, strike 1. Nick Kairos is on deck if Carosis can keep this inning alive. Florentino trying to work out of a bit of a sticky situation that he got himself into to start the inning. The 0-1, runner goes, throw down to third, here comes the runner home, and now Ibarra stops and comes back to third base. So a bit of a dicey play on the infield all around, but when it's all said and done, it'll be a stolen base for Charlie Towers, who gets to second. And Junior Ibarra, who drew the through home, was able to get back to third base. The 0-2 just misses. AJ Carosis has just a 188 batting average on the season, but has brought a little bit of power in the 69 at-bats he's had this season. He's got 3 home runs. He's driven in 8. He's been pretty efficient with doing damage when he does get his hits. The 1-2 upstairs. Carosis able to lay off. AJ Carosis has 13 hits on the season, 3 of them homers. Right now, the Kitchener Panthers would love one of those singles. The 2-2 swung on and missed. Luis Florentino pumped up as he heads back to the dugout as he strands 2 in scoring position for the Kitchener Panthers and holds the lead at 1-0 Toronto. Well, new acquisition by the Toronto Maple Leafs this week, Dylan Osborne, who's been a two-way player over his Division I career. He's played for a couple different colleges in the States with the Washington Huskies and the Pac-12 and the University of Southern California Trojans. 2 pretty good programs there, both Division I baseball. Southern California in the Big Ten, 2 of the top divisions in NCAA baseball in the U.S. And Maple Leafs looking forward to whatever he's going to bring to the team this year. I think he's down in the bullpen today for the Maple Leafs, but he can hit as well. He can play the outfield. And he's really young, too. I don't know if he's decided what he wants to do with his baseball career yet. He's 20 years old, and I mean like a fresh 20 years old. Born in 2005, just turned 20 about 30 days ago. The 0-1 pitch is outside to Dan Mara, who's at the dish. The 1-1 misses. Dan Mara hitting .282 on the season for the Leafs. As he fouls this one off, and the count's 2-2. Couple homers and 9 RBIs for Dan. Mara chops this one on the ground to first. Karasis able to come over and make the play, and that's the first out. Well, bottom of the second inning here at Christie Pitts, Yadier Martinez got himself in a whole bunch of trouble, had to throw over 30 pitches in the first inning, but when it was all said and done, the Maple Leafs only came away with 1 run. It took a Chad Picton single to drive one in, but that's all the Leafs got. Kind of feels like over the last couple games, they've just been looking for that big hit. They certainly had opportunities. If you look at the last game against the London Majors, multiple opportunities where they had the bases loaded, and sometimes they get one in, but they just couldn't get that big inning. Only a real big swing was Dennis DeBanning's 3-run home run. Pitch in there for a strike to Spencer Ross. Well, at first it started Spencer Ross's playing time that he's really been earning with this Maple Leafs team lately became because of his defensive flexibility. But if you look at what he's been doing over the last couple of games, just getting on base, coming up with big hits, now he's a guy that you just got to have in the lineup. He's been playing shortstop for the Maple Leafs. The 2-1. And there for a strike. Now I should mention that I think the plan was to have Spencer Ross as an everyday player all the time to start the season for the Maple Leafs because he hit .310 last year with the Kitchener Panthers. Now a high chopper. This one's to the shortstop, and a good play at that by Jordan Mandalay, and that's out number 2. So 2 outs now. It's the top of the order for the Maple Leafs, and Ryan Dos Santos getting a second at bat. And he hits this one high in the air. This one's to center field, and that'll end the inning for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Well, what a bounce back from Yadier Martinez as he comes through with a 1-2-3 inning against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it's the Leafs who lead 1-0 here at Christie Pitts. 9-1-2 for the Kitchener Panthers here in the top of the third inning. Luis Florentino has pitched a couple scoreless here against Kitchener. This is Nick Kairos leading things off. Kairos scoring to bunt and takes a strike. The 0-1. This time Kairos keeps the bat on the shoulder, but takes another strike. That time a breaking ball from Florentino, and it's 0-2. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Luis Florentino records strikeout number 3. And there's one out, and here's the top of the order, and Jordan Mandalay. Mandalay also kind of pulled the bat back. I don't think Kitchener Panthers are all that interested in testing out the quarter infielders for the Maple Leafs. I think it might just be the product of how tough Luis Florentino is. Here's Mandalay squaring to bunt again. There's a couple different things it could be. That also could just be Mandalay was taken all the way, so might as well square around. Here's the 0-2. And he chops one on the ground, up the middle, past a diving Spencer Ross. Mandalay is able to squeak one through the infield, and he's aboard with one away. Well, this will be a bit of a heat check here for the Kitchener Panthers with one of their newer players, and Matteo Zeppieri coming to the plate. Could use a little power here. One of those extra base hits. He only had one extra base hit as a Kitchener Panther coming into the last game against the Barrie Baycats, and then exploded for 2 home runs. Oh, 0-1 on Zeppieri. And he slashes one down the line, foul. Pretty close, but comfortably foul for the Maple Leafs. It's been a long home stretch here in the month of July for Toronto, and they've still got 2 more games on the docket at home. The 0-2. That one's chopped foul at home plate, but right now they just want to come away with some wins, and it starts tonight. Talked to a couple Toronto Maple Leafs players about, is there any kind of worry in the locker room or anything like that? Said no, the vibes are high. Both Mike Giacchetto and Dennis DeBanning confirmed that no one's really getting down on themselves or anything in the locker room. Obviously, they're disappointed they can't be winning, as this pitch is way outside, which means that the runner Mandalay is going to make it to second base because John Javier didn't have a chance to throw it. So how about that? The veteran Jordan Mandalay now has 8 stolen bases on the season for Kitchener. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Zeppieri goes down swinging, and there's 2 away. Well, this is the best guy the Kitchener Panthers could have at the plate for this situation, Yosvani Penalve. Time called by John Javier at home plate. Penalve's been good in these situations, runners in scoring position. He's got 18 RBIs on the season, puts the ball in play a lot, and has the highest batting average in the lineup for the Kitchener Panthers. This one slashed into the outfield. That's down for a hit. Plenty to score the run. Then we have a tie ball game here at Christie Pitts. And it's Penalve who drives him in again. 19 RBIs on the season for him. And it's a 1-1 game. Now the Kitchener Panthers looking for Junior Ibarra to keep it going. It's quite clearly this season the strength for this Kitchener Panther lineup has been the top of the order. 1, 2, 3, whoever it is. A lot of the time it's Mandalay and Penalve in the top 2 spots. Junior Ibarra, who has come around quite nicely for Kitchener in the last couple games. He's always been a steady force in the cleanup spot. So if the Maple Leafs were going to get hurt by any part of the lineup, it would be right here for the Kitchener Panthers. Now can Luis Florentino limit the damage here in the 3rd inning? Now a balk called on Florentino. So that's going to move Penalve into scoring position. Changes the game plan a little bit for Junior Ibarra. Now he just needs to poke one into the outfield. Had a hit in his last at-bat. Takes a strike. The 0-1. Inside, 1-1. Junior Ibarra, he'll be patient at the plate. Not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. That's what he did in his last at-bat. He was down 0-2 and still found a way to get on board. "20 RBIs on the season for Ibarra. Chops one on the ground. Foul. Just foul at third base. The Panthers could take the lead here in the top of the 3rd inning. That's not nothing. They've played some tight, low-scoring games against the top teams on the IBL. In fact, losing 1-0 to the London Majors, they got a fantastic performance from everybody, pitching-wise and defensively, but just weren't able to score the runs. The 1-2. Up and in, off the glove of Javier. And now there's a runner at third base for Kitchener. So now any kind of hit from Junior Ibarra will surely score the run from third base. If you're Luis Florentino here, you want to attack Ibarra a little bit because you want to get out of the inning here, but you also got to be careful. You don't want to let that run come in to score. Charlie Towers, who walked in his last at-bat, he's on deck. But Towers is a lefty against the righty Florentino. Couple things to think about here for Luis on the mound, and he'll just strike him out. Blows one by him at the top of the zone. Just one for the Kitchener Panthers in the top of the 3rd. Tie ball game here at Christie Pitts. Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs got one in the first. The Kitchener Panthers answer a couple innings later in the top of the third. Now, what do the Toronto Maple Leafs have in store? This is a nice part of their lineup that they have coming up with John Javier, Jordan Castaldo, and Dennis DeBanning. 2, 3, 4 for the Maple Leafs. John Javier is 0 for 1. Hit a chopper right off of home plate in his last at-bat. Back to the pitcher. Javier now finds himself behind in the count. The 0-2 way outside. Now Javier drives this ball the other way, and it's caught in front of the wall. What a play by Yosvani Penalve. A little bit of a leap, reached up against that tall wall out there in right field and took away what looked like a hit off the bat of John Javier. Looked like a pretty good pitch from Yadier Martinez too. That was a pitch way on the outer half, but Javier was still able to make pretty good contact on it. So nobody on now for Jordan Castaldo, who's walked in his last at-bat. Manning takes a strike. Jordan Castaldo hitting .290 on the season for the Maple Leafs. Castaldo takes well outside. If you ask Jordan Castaldo, though, he'll probably say he wants to see that batting average rise before the end of the season. He's been a perennial .300 hitter in the Intercounty Baseball League. There's the 2-1. Castaldo takes outside again, and it's 3-1. Talked to Jordan Castaldo earlier in the season. He said, you know, not only does he think he should definitely be hitting .300, he said, you know, he thinks he has the ability to hit .400 in this league as well, which is something he has done in the Intercounty Baseball League as he fouls off that 3-1 pitch. He just missed it. The 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Jordan Castaldo went after a breaking ball in the dirt. And now it brings up Dennis DeBanning with nobody on base. At the beginning of the season, it was very clear that Dennis DeBanning was just basically looking for pitches out over the plate or on the outer half and trying to drive the ball the other way. And while that approach doesn't change, and as Dennis said, it really never changes when he's at the plate, as he fists this one towards the outfield. That's down for a base hit. Brings up my point of, well, he doesn't mind pulling the ball too. He's at a point now where he says, you know, he just swings the bat and whatever happens, happens. And that worked out pretty well as he bloops one into the outfield. Mike Chiquetto, who grew up playing baseball with Dennis DeBanning, you know, mentioned now that DeBanning is on this hot stretch. He said, you know, he's known Dennis DeBanning for a long time, and he said when Dennis DeBanning gets hot, he can be one of the hottest hitters he's ever seen. Now it's Justin Mara who takes just outside. There's been a couple pitches from Yadier Martinez on the outer half, and he hasn't showed really any frustration on the mound, but, you know, he's had that long look into the umpire, maybe just kind of getting some feedback on where that outside corner is. Here's the 1-0. Mara goes around, tried to check his swing, but the plane of the bat clearly crossed home plate. As the home plate umpire was able to make the call. Mara will probably need an extra base hit to get Debanning in from first base. That was a perfect pitch from Martinez, and now he's ahead in the count. Four home runs on the season for Justin Mara, all of them here at Christie Pitts. He's come up in big moments before for the Maple Leafs this season. The 1-2 is in the dirt. Counts now 2-2. Dennis Debanning has just stole one base on the season for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but I talked to some of his teammates, and they said he's one of the faster guys on the team this season. The 2-2 fouled off. Boy, Justin Marr took a big swing and just barely got a piece of it. Junior Ibarra was kind of having a conversation there with the home plate umpire, and I'm almost wondering if he was trying to argue that Justin Mara didn't end up hitting that ball at all, because it also tipped off his glove, Ibarra's glove, behind home plate. 2-2. He won't like that one as well. It's called a ball, and it's a full count. The best feedback you can get, though, on that Justin Mara, foul or not, was that Mara right away seemed to think that he got a piece of it. The 3-2. Debanning goes, and it's ball 4. Oh, that time Martinez showed some frustration. He's still showing it on the mound for Kitchener. He thought that was strike 3, was halfway to the dugout. Both the infielders and the outfielders started their trot back to the dugout, but no strike 3 signal from home plate. So that's a walk for Mara. And now it's Chad Picton who drove in the only run of the game for the Maple Leafs and his last at bat. Picton takes outside. Well, how much will this increase the pitch count for Yadier Martinez? He thought he'd got out of the inning on that strike 3 pitch. That would have been pitch number 61. Now he's going to have to keep tossing out on the mound here. That's now pitch number 63 to Picton. The 1-1, high chopper on the ground to third, fielded by Fuji, throws to first in time, and it doesn't cost Martinez too much, does that strike 3 call on Justin Mara, as he just needs a couple more pitches to get out of the inning and get Chad Picton to ground out to third base. 1-1 game here at Dominico Field. Top of the fourth inning here at Dominico Field. It's Luis Florentino into his fourth inning of work facing Charlie Towers, who swings and misses at the first pitch. Charlie Towers walked in his last at-bat. The 0-1 pitch in there for a strike, 0-2. Towers slashes one on the ground, foul towards third base. Bit of a cool, ominous wind is starting to blow through Christie Pitts. And the weather forecast saying that there could be a chance of thunderstorms in about an hour and a half. But of course, lots could happen between now and then. This game has been ticking along quite nicely. The 1-2 fouled off again by Towers. Well, he's definitely late on that Florentino fastball, but not late enough that he can't get a piece of it. So if you're Luis Florentino, maybe you just keep going back to it and maybe try and elevate one just a little bit more than he has. See what he goes with here. The 1-2. Well, that time he tried to throw something off speed and missed. The 2-2. Towers loops it into the outfield for a base hit. What an at-bat. Fouled off some tough pitches and then finds some outfield grass. And it's always good to get on in front of Yusuke Fuji, who's got great power. John Javier just came out to chat with Luis Florentino. It looked like he went with another off-speed pitch there against Charlie Towers. Almost wonder if would have just stuck with the hard stuff there. Towers was quite late on it. But also he was late on it, but he was, you know, just a couple feet away from hitting it foul down the third baseline. First pitch to Fuji, up and in. Fuji had a hit off of Luis Florentino last time Florentino pitched. That was against the Kitchener. Well, I guess it was technically against London, but last time he started was against the Kitchener Panthers. Toronto Maple Leafs have kind of toyed with the idea of either making Luis Florentino a back-end relief pitcher, kind of in that closer's role, some support for Dustin Richardson down there at the back end of the bullpen, or starting Florentino. The 2-1. That misses outside. The question, though, has been, does Luis Florentino have the stamina to be an effective starter for this Toronto Maple Leafs team? The stuff in the fastball velocity and the composure on the mound, none of that stuff is in question. It's just a matter of, can he throw, 90 to 100 pitches every time he goes out for this Maple Leafs team. 3-1, up and in, ball 4. Right now, he's sitting at just about 60 pitches, 58 to be exact, and showing maybe some signs of fatigue here in the top of the fourth inning as Rob Butler is out to the mound to chat with his young pitcher. This is just a check on Florentino and maybe give some words of wisdom. Yeah, look at that. I don't know if you saw that hand signal there from Rob Butler, but he made the hand signal like just pound your fastball. Luis Florentino, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Luis Florentino has kind of been fooling around with breaking balls as we enter into the bottom of the lineup for the Kitchener Panthers. And, you know, he's walked a guy. He gave up the hit to Towers. And, you know, it was funny. I was talking to Justin Mara the other day when he was talking about Luis Florentino just as a pitcher. He said he's got a great fastball and good secondary pitches too if he needs them. Kind of referencing that, you know, he might just be able to get through a game pounding his fastball, kind of like what Dustin Richardson does for the Maple Leafs. So Rob Butler probably with some assurance there for Florentino that your fastball is good. Just keep using it. This is Osawa at the plate. And he missed that time with his fastball. Some coaches, you know, they kind of put their hand over their mouth to, you know, disguise the words. Rob Butler just straight up made the fastball signal with his hand. Oh, 0-2 on Osawa. And he misses upstairs. And now Luis Florentino needs to find his way back in the strike zone. If he walks Osawa here, it's bases loaded and nobody out. Brown is warming up in the bullpen for the Maple Leafs. That just started when Florentino got in a bit of trouble here in the fourth. Ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Osawa. Bases loaded, nobody out. Well, if there's anyone who could get out of a bases loaded, nobody out situation, it might be Luis Florentino on this Maple Leafs team. But at this point in the ball game, you know, if you just get out with some limited damage, this Leafs team's got a good offense, and you know they have found ways to score runs against the Kitchener Panthers. They haven't had as much success as they would have liked against this Kitchener Panthers team, which is down in the IBL standings this season, but they've scored runs against them. So if you give up 1 or 2 here, it's really not the end of the world. And this might be 1 or 2. This one's driven into the outfield by Karasis. 1 run comes in to score. Here's the second. Throw to the plate. Cut off by Justin Mara. And now this has the makings of a big inning for the Kitchener Panthers. It's 3-1. Well, Luis Florentino might be lucky now to get out of this inning with 1 or 2 runs coming across. There's runners on the corners now for the Kitchener Panthers with nobody out in the top of the 4th inning. Gotta get this guy though, and Nick Kairos. This is the number 9 hitter for the Panthers. Kairos struck out in his last at bat. Squaring to bunt. There have been a lot of bunts, at least bunt attempts or taking the bat off the shoulder from the Kitchener Panthers in this game against Luis Florentino. Not a lot of success, though, with bunting. There's been a couple bunts foul, a couple players squaring to bunt and taking strikes. Even at the top of the order with Jordan Mandalay, he was squaring to bunt in his last at-bat. The 0-1, it's a bunt. John Javier fields it. The run comes in to score, and they don't have a play anywhere. Justin Mara was coming in to field that ball as well, which meant that Dan wasn't able to get over in time, the second baseman, so there was no play at first base either. And with the catcher coming out to field that ball, there was no one covering home plate. Maple Leafs metaphorically and literally didn't have all their bases covered on that play, and a run comes in to score for Kitchener. Top of the order, Jordan Mandalay fouls off the first pitch. 4-1 Kitchener Panthers. You You know, if you just look at the situation that the Maple Leafs are in, they've had trouble winning at home, especially in the month of July where they have a lot of home games. They really need this one against the Kitchener Panthers. They need Florentino to dig deep and try and give them something to get out of this inning. There's Mandalay bunting again, but he taps it back to the screen. You know, if the Panthers are able to get a couple more hits here against Florentino, cash in a couple more runs, I mean, this could be the inning that the ball game pivots on. 1, 2, 3 here in the Panther order. That's where we're at. The 0-2 pitch fouled off, and it's going to be tough to strike out Jordan Mandalay because he gets to everything with his bat. Mandalay has had 110 at-bats this season. Listen to this. He's only struck out 7 times. That's Dan Mara-like numbers. Here's the 0-2. Fouled off. That's just ridiculous. That pitch was almost in the dirt. Mandalay just threw his hands at it and fouled it onto the hill. Jordan Mandalay is 1 for 2 today. Scored last time he was on base. Florentino trying to figure out how he's going to get out the veteran Panther shortstop. And going upstairs with the fastball doesn't work out either because he gets a piece of it. Of the 36 hits that Mandalay has this season, just 5 of them extra bases because he puts up at-bats like this where he just is able to dish one into the outfield. The 0-2. This time he taps it to shortstop. Flip to second for 1. Back to first, not in time. Oh, the Maple Leafs could have used that double play, but Mandalay just didn't quite hit it hard enough to the shortstop Spencer Ross. But they do get an out. There's one away here in the 4th. And don't be fooled, while Jordan Mandalay is one of the older players in this Kitchener Panther lineup, he's still quite speedy over there at first base, so could be some action on the base paths here. Zeppieri, runner goes, this one's fouled straight back, and rolls onto the street here at Christie Pitts. Zeppieri had a good rip at that first pitch, but just missed it. Well, Jordan Mandalay now taking his time, walking all the way back to first base. He was stealing on first movement from Luis Florentino. That's what he did in his last at-bat. He stole a base. Or last time he was on, he stole a base. He wants to stay out of the double play. The 0-1. He's going again. This one's popped up sky high. The wind, though, is not helping out the Maple Leafs. It's pushing it out of play, and it just does get over the fence. The wind is blowing from about center field, but maybe a little bit to the left, and that's all that ball needed to sneak out of play. It was out of play by about a foot. 0-2 now. Well, if Mandalay's going to keep running on every move from Florentino, strikeout here might work out against Zeppieri. See if Luis Florentino can find it. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Yes, he can, and there's 2 away, and Mandalay was not going. Oh, Yosvani Penalve came up with an RBI in his last at-bat. It was a sharply hit single down towards the line. That was out in right field. And he takes strike 1. this is now absolutely the batter that Luis Florentino needs to get. The toughest guy in the lineup in Yosvani Penalve. And he takes another strike. And just like that, Luis Florentino, who looked like he was having some control issues early in the inning, some walks, some 4-pitch walks, now has been pounding the strike zone against the Kitchener Panthers in the last couple batters. Penalve behind 0-2. The pitch from Florentino. Runner goes, Penalve fouls it off. That's Jordan Mandalay over there at first base. He is getting his sprints in, and now Florentino's going to have to wait because Mandalay is not even halfway to first base. He's jogging, but it would actually probably be faster to walk at the speed that he's jogging back to first. Don't let the quick feet movement fool you. Those steps were quite small. Here's the 0-2. He's going again. Pitch upstairs. No throw down to second base. Oh, man. I mean, Mandalay is exhausted from running. He seems to know that Luis Florentino's not going to throw the ball over there to first base. He would have probably been hosed at second base, but the Maple Leafs are playing this conservatively and just trying to focus on Penalve at the plate. The 1-2. Breaking ball upstairs. Well, if there has been a pitch that Florentino has had a feel for in this inning, it's been the fastball. He's missed arm side with a couple breaking balls. Here's the 2-2. In the dirt, it gets to the backstop, bounces high off the screen. Throw back to Florentino, that ball gets away. Another run's going to come in to score for the Kitchener Panthers. They lead 6-1 on a disaster at home plate for the Maple Leafs. Boy, that was interesting what just happened right there. So that was a 2-2 count. Jordan Mandalay was jogging towards third, like he was going towards third base. He would have been absolutely picked off. I think he thought it was a 3-2 counter, or actually I don't know what he thought at second base, but somehow it just worked out, and he was already at third by the time that wild pitch came, so he started coming home. Here's the 3-2 on Penalve in the dirt. Florentino spikes it about 56 feet in front of home plate, and that's a walk. Rob Butler is out to the mound, and this is going to be the end of the day for Luis Florentino. Well, he was one pitch away from kind of keeping this one close, but just couldn't quite find it. And it's Matt Brown into the game for the Maple Leafs. Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs have certainly struggled at home this season. Just 2-8 over their last 10 games and trying to get themselves a win at home in the month of July. You can see the splits between what they've done at Christie Pitts and what they've done on the road, and the number's pretty drastic between the two. So Matt Brown coming into this game and trying to first and foremost end this inning for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then they have their work cut out for them. But one thing at a time here is Matt Brown, the 22-year-old out of Oakville, is into the game. First pitch inside to Junior Ibarra. This will be the 5th game that Brown is appearing in for the Maple Leafs. Runner going. High chopper on the ground to third. And Picton throws to first, and that'll do it for the Kitchener Panthers in the 4th inning. But, man, they come across with a big inning. 5 runs in the 4th, and they lead 6-1 over Toronto. Well, how will the Toronto Maple Leafs respond in the bottom half of the 4th inning? They gave up 5 to the Kitchener Panthers in the top. It's a 6-1 ball game. And it all starts with Aiden McCaskey here for the Maple Leafs. He's the right fielder today. McCaskey takes strike 1. This one's fouled off by McCaskey. It clipped Junior Ibarra on the way by, but looks like he's no worse for wear. Dan Mara is on deck, followed by Spencer Ross for the Maple Leafs this inning. Here's the 0-2. McCaskey takes outside. Aiden McCaskey started his baseball season in 2025 playing with the Charleston Southern Buccaneers in the NCAA Division I. The 1-2 pitch fouled off. He's got some great power. Was 11th in home runs in the Big South, with 12 of them this season playing in college baseball. The 1-2. That one's outside. Martinez misses with the 2-2 pitch, and McCaskey has worked it full. Well, if you're going to come back in this game, you got to have some good at-bats. Martinez 70 pitches in here in the 4th. And that's strike 3 called on the inner half. 1 out. Well, McCaskey strikes out to start the inning, but I was going to say what the Maple Leafs would do right now for, you know, a 25, 30 pitch inning from Yadier Martinez. That would inch him closer to the 100 mark, which you never know what's going to happen, but you think that would be about where the Kitchener Panthers would like him to be in this game. So, you know, maybe 2 more innings, including this one. And as you well know from watching Inter-County Baseball League baseball, a lot of the time the road bullpen is more short-handed than the home bullpen. Obviously, there's been a couple days of rest for the Kitchener Panthers, who pitched really well over the weekend, but they did have a 3-3 Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The 2-1. Chopped on the ground to second. Charlie Towers has it. He throws to first, and that's out number 2. This does not have the makings of a 25-pitch inning for Yadier Martinez. Two away in the inning. Spencer Ross at the dish. He's the number 9 hitter, playing shortstop for Toronto. Trying to get on base and see if Ryan Dos Santos can't drive him in. The 1-1 pitch. That misses outside. 2-1. All of a sudden, Yadier Martinez working quickly there. I think he knew he was kind of quick pitching Spencer Ross. See that big smile on his face as he turned back towards center field. A 2-1. This time he misses low. Slowed it down after those first couple pitches. You know, Yadier Martinez gets out of this 4th inning. The line's looking pretty good. But Spencer Ross gives this one a ride, and it's caught by Yosvani Penalve. That ball was slicing off the bat of Spencer Ross, but Penalve able to stay with it as that ball came right back towards him, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Yadier Martinez. I was going to say, things are looking pretty good for Yadier Martinez right now. The Toronto Maple Leafs have just scratched across 1 on 3 hits on the Kitchener Panther pitcher, and it's 6-1 Kitchener as we head to the 5th. Well, how about this t-shirt in the crowd? This is a Matt Brown t-shirt from his days playing for the South Florida Bulls in the NCAA. I'm guessing that's probably a family member, but either way, pretty cool to see the USF Bulls chair and t-shirt. And look at, oh yeah, that's got to be a family member, right? He's got the radar gun out there, checking out what Matt Brown's throwing. Oh man. I'd love to get my hands on some of those numbers from the warm-up pitches from Matt Brown. That's pretty good right there. Matt Brown has spent a couple seasons with the University of South Florida. And when he wasn't playing NCAA baseball, he's playing for West Virginia Summer League Baseball. It was the West Virginia Black Bears. Did that since 2022. So here he is now in the Inter-County Baseball League. Maple Leafs have liked what they've seen from Matt Brown so far this season. This is his 5th game with the team. Charlie Towers takes outside, ball 1. Matt Brown did exactly what the Maple Leafs needed him to do last inning. Got out of the inning. There's a big 5-run inning for the Kitchener Panthers. They needed someone to come in and stop the bleeding, and that was Matt Brown. Two 2-0 now on Charlie Towers. Well, that one just missed inside. John Javier was trying to sell it for his pitcher. 3-0 now. Brown misses upstairs, ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to Charlie Towers. Charlie Towers has had a knack for getting on base for some reason today for the Kitchener Panthers. He's walked a couple times and he got himself a hit. I mean, the reason has partially been because he's battled today. Earned that base hit after fouling off a bunch of Luis Florentino pitches in his last at-bat. Other than that, 2 walks. Fuji at the dish now, and he takes a strike. Fuji is 0 for 1 today, but he's also walked. The 0-1. Way outside. The final line for Luis Florentino today, 3 2/3 innings. Gave up 6 runs, 5 of them earned, 6 hits, 4 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Here's the 1-1. This one's hit on the ground, foul towards first base. Justin Mara is the first baseman today for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's bounced back and forth between playing first base and catching. Something the Toronto Maple Leafs wanted to do a little bit this season was find a solid catcher that could get Justin Mara off his knees for a couple games throughout the season. And they didn't just do that with their catcher, John Javier. They found one of the best hitters in their lineup. Pickoff throw to first, not in time. Well, the throw was in time. The tag just barely late to try and get the runner Charlie Towers at first base. The 1-2 now on Fuji. Matt Brown, a big imposing presence out there on the mound, standing 6'4". Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Fuji goes down swinging. That's a big out number 1 there for Matt Brown. Now that Charlie Towers still on first base. Osawa at the dish. The double play is in order for the Maple Leafs if Matt Brown can induce some contact on the ground. That's what he did in the first batter he faced. As he got Penalve to ground out. There goes Charlie Towers. He was thinking along the same lines. Throw down, that skips into the outfield. Oh, actually, boy, that's a great play by Spencer Ross. Man, that ball took a pretty favorable bounce for the Maple Leafs as it kind of went straight up when it hit the edge of the grass, but look how far Spencer Ross had to go to come over and cover that ball from going into center field. He saved the Maple Leafs 90 feet. Dan Mara keeping Towers close at second base. The 1-0. Hit sky high. This one's in the air to right field. This ball's carrying pretty well. It gets Aiden McCaskey back to the track. He makes the catch, and Charlie Towers will tag and advance to third base. Well, that ball was squared up pretty nicely from Osawa, but he just got under it a little bit too much, and now it's AJ Karasis at the dish. First pitch inside, it goes to the backstop. John Javier scampers back, throws home, and that one's offline. A run comes in to score. It's 7-1 Kitchener Panthers on the wild pitch. There was probably a chance to get Charlie Towers. The backstop is not particularly far here at Christie Pitts, so anytime the ball gets by the catcher, things get interesting. But John Javier, who really had to rush that throw to even make it close, just threw it a little bit up the third baseline. Want to know the count now. Karasis takes a strike on the outer half. Now he gets way out in front of that one and fouls it toward the Panther bullpen. Nick Kairos is on deck. He's hopeful of an at-bat here in the fifth. Bases are empty. A run has come in to score on a wild pitch for the Kitchener Panthers. Charlie Towers, as he does so often, found his way around the base path. The 1-2 in the dirt. So Towers got on with a 4-pitch walk. Then he stole second base, made it to third on a deep sac fly, and then came home on a wild pitch. Not some winning baseball right there from Towers. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. So Matt Brown gets the punch out to get him out of the fifth inning, but the Kitchener Panthers score one more. They lead 7-1 over Toronto. Leadoff hitter is Ryan Dos Santos for the Maple Leafs, and he starts at the bottom of the fifth inning. Takes ball one. The 1-0 pitch. Outside. Well, it's still windy here at Christie Pitts, but the forecast is looking a lot more favorable for this game to be completed. Risk of thunderstorms has cleared, but the Maple Leafs in this inning are still going to have to deal with a stiff wind coming in from dead center field. The 2-1. Dos Santos hits it on the ground. This one's to the shortstop, Mandalay, and the sure-handed shortstop for Kitchener makes another good play, and that's out number one. John Javier's 0 for 2 today. Riding a 20-game on base streak. Trying to keep that going here. The 1-0. Inside. John Javier ducked out of the way. Now he takes a strike on the outside corner. Well, the Maple Leafs have scored runs when they're at home this season, but it's been the runs that they've given up that have been the problem. Being outscored 147-92 on the year at Christie Pitts. The 3-1 misses low. Oh, no, called it. Nope, yeah, missed low. John Javier will head down to first base. That's a walk. A little bit of life here for the Maple Leafs in the 5th. Here comes Jordan Castaldo, followed by Dennis DeBanning. Leafs have only mustered 3 hits so far against Yadian Martinez. Well, if you told the Maple Leafs that they've only struck out twice through 4 1/3 innings against Yadian Martinez, they'd probably take that. Martinez has been striking out batters well over 1 per inning this season. This one's hit on the ground by Castaldo, bobbled by Mandalay. Now he throws to first in time to get 1. Absolutely could have been a double play for the Kitchener Panthers, so that's a break, but Mandalay able to stay with it and get 1. Once again, Dennis DeBanning will come up with a runner in scoring position. And the Toronto Maple Leafs will ask for some of what he did in his first at-bat, where he dished a single into the outfield. DeBanning with a check swing, but it's called a swing. So that's strike 1. The 0-1 pitch. DeBanning takes outside. Well, talking to Dennis DeBanning the other day, admitted that, it was a bit of a slow middle stretch to the season for him, and the batting average was quite low up until a couple weeks ago. Now he's raised it to 278 on the year. Crazy what a couple days of hot hitting can do for the numbers. Here's the 1-1. DeBanning fouls it off. That pitch was right in on his hands. Well, Dennis DeBanning certainly likes to swing the bat. In the 70 ABs he's had this season, he's only walked twice. If he sees a pitch he likes, he's going to go after it. The 1-2. And he takes just outside, maybe a bit low as well. Justin Mara, who has a hit today, is on deck, but the focus right now for Yadian Martinez and the Kitchener Panthers is get Dennis DeBanning and get through another scoreless inning, this time in the bottom of the 5th. Couple head shakes from Yadian Martinez, which prompts a time call by the veteran catcher Junior Ibarra behind the dish. the 2-2. DeBanning fouls it off. That one skips over the fence on top of the Maple Leafs dugout. All of a sudden as well, Dennis DeBanning has become the RBI guy for the Maple Leafs. We see him move up into the 4 spot today. He's got 20 of them on the season. Another 2-2 from Yadier Martinez. And DeBanning slashes this one into the outfield, down for a base hit. John Javier getting the wave home. Dennis DeBanning with an RBI single. That's exactly what the Maple Leafs needed in that situation, and it's 7-2. Well, the Maple Leafs will need to scratch and claw away at this Kitchener Panther lead here in the 5th. They've got one, and they've got a power hitter in Justin Mara at the plate. The shift in momentum here at Christie Pitts is going to spark a mound visit. Well, this is what we got on the lineup card today in terms of available pitchers for Kitchener. Danny Garcia was up very early on in the game. I don't know if he had any intention of coming into the game or not. But you think his action in the bullpen might signal that he could be the next man up. This is 96 pitches now for Yadier Martinez. No action right now in the bullpen. Justin Mara at the dish. Mara takes a strike. Well, Justin Mara is one of those, savvy veteran hitters on this Maple Leafs team that intakes information from his previous at-bats, and when he gets a third look at a guy like he is Martinez, a lot of the time it goes his way. Nothing you can do with that pitch, though, and it's right on the outside corner for Martinez, 0-2. 2 good at-bats already today against Martinez for Justin Mara. This time he takes it a little further outside, 1-2. Mara takes another one outside. So as Yadier Martinez crosses the 100 pitch threshold, it's worth mentioning he threw 99 in his last start over 7 innings against the Guelph Royals. Some action in the Maple Leafs bullpen as Ayami Sato starts to throw. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Fist pump on the mound for Yadier Martinez as he gets Justin Mara. And that'll end the bottom of the 5th inning, although Dennis DeBanning, who's come up clutch before in recent days for the Maple Leafs, gets another run for his side. It's now 7-2 as the Leafs get 1 in the 5th. Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to get a look at their new arm into the game, Dylan Osborne. Osborne will face 9-1-2. Here's the 0-1. Kairos takes inside. Dylan Osborne signed by the team yesterday. He's making his Toronto Maple Leafs debut, so a chance for Toronto to see what they got. Two and two now on Kairos. Osborne wants to get Kairos here before he faces the top of the order. The 2-2 just inside. Appeal down to first base to see if Kairos went. They say no swing. Dylan Osborne stands at 6'3", 210 pounds on the mound for the Maple Leafs. So Matt Brown an imposing presence. Well, so is Dylan Osborne. This one's chopped foul towards third. Here's the 3-2. Upstairs, ball 4. Kairos able to draw the walk, and here comes the top of the order. Jordan Mandalay getting his 4th at-bat, and for the 3rd at-bat in a row, squaring to bunt. This time he takes outside ball 1. He's done a lot today. He's got a hit, scored twice, created some chaos on the base paths. The 1-0. Chopped foul. Scored all the way from second base on a wild pitch. That was the 6th run of the game for Kitchener. Osborne's 1-1 here to Mandalay. Fouled off. This one's chopped on the ground, fielded at shortstop, throw to first, double play. Jordan Mandalay hits the high chopper. And the Toronto Maple Leafs infield able to turn it for 2. I wasn't sure if Spencer Ross was going to have time to flip that ball over to Mara, but he got it there exceptionally quickly. And Matteo Zeppieri comes to the plate with nobody on base, and that's big because Zeppieri has had a knack for the long ball in recent games. Matteo Zeppieri is 0 for 3 today with a couple of strikeouts. Dylan Osborne, the third pitcher into the game for the Maple Leafs. They started with Florentino, then Matt Brown came in and pitched pretty well through an inning and a third. The 2-0. I think that was called a strike by the home plate umpire. Yeah, it counts 2-1. Oborn trying to have a nice 3 batters faced first inning to his Maple Leafs debut. So that pitch is fouled off by Zeppieri, and now he's got 2 strikes. (7-2) Kitchener Panthers here in the top of the 6th inning. The Maple Leafs trying to set themselves up for success and see if they can't get 5 before this thing is done. Oborn's 2-2 in the dirt. Yosvani Penalve looms on deck if Zeppieri can reach base. Long look in here from Oborn. The 3-2. And he just missed outside. Zeppieri takes his free bag. And here comes Penalve with his 19 RBIs on the season. He's already got 1 of those today. Penalve is one of the imports on this Kitchener Panther team and fulfilling that role quite nicely for Kitchener this season. Hails out of Havana, Cuba. Kitchener Panthers have had a nice line of Cuban import players in the last couple of years. Here's the 1-0. Penalve takes just outside. Dylan Oborn got a very important double play to start this inning. Since has walked Zeppieri and now trying to battle back in this count and get Penalve. Takes high and the count's now 3-0. Well, Oborn's been right around the strike zone, but just missing on the last couple pitches. Ayami Sato continuing to get loose, as well as Dustin Richardson, who has started his long toss routine. There's a strike to Penalve. How about that duo of players in the bullpen? Former major leaguer and the best female pitcher in the world down the left field line. The 3-1. High fly ball. This one's to center field, and it's Dennis DeBanning who's camped under it, and he makes the catch. Well, Dylan Oborn, a good start to his Toronto Maple Leafs career. He allows just a walk and nothing more to hurt him in the inning. It's the Kitchener Panthers who lead 7-2 over Toronto. Back here at Dominico Field, and Chad Picton leading things off for the Maple Leafs. Yadier Martinez just stepped off and now signaling to his outfield, positioning his outfielders here against Chad Picton. He wanted to move his left fielder, Matteo Zeppieri, about 10, 15 steps backwards. The 1-0, swing and a miss by Picton. It's kind of interesting because, you know, we've seen a small sample size of at-bats for Chad Picton, but he hasn't hit a fly ball to left yet. Yeah, there you go. He takes it the other way. Good play at first base, though, by Karasis as he flips onto Yadier Martinez, and that's the first out. Thinking of it now, I guess Chad Picton technically has a fly ball to left. His bloop single for his first Maple Leaf RBI was kind of to left center field. So here's Aiden McCaskey. He's the number 7 hitter for the Maple Leafs today. And he's 0 for 2. This is his third at-bat, and he swings and misses at the first pitch. Oh and 1 the count now on McCaskey. Aiden McCaskey came into today as, you know, he's had a good start for the Maple Leafs. He's 3 for 8 to start his season. Now he swings and misses on a well-located pitch for Yadier Martinez, who, by the way, is well over the 100 pitch mark. The 1-2, he quick pitched him, but he missed outside. Pitch number 110 coming here from Martinez. It's in the dirt. It's a good take there from McCaskey. Now he's got a full count. If you're Yadier Martinez at, you know, this point in your outing, every pitch becomes more valuable as the pitch count increases, and wouldn't be surprised if Yadier Martinez goes right after McCaskey here. He does, and McCaskey taps it on the ground. This one's to second base, and a big stretch at first by H.A. Karasis on a throw that was a little bit offline from Charlie Towers, but he keeps his foot on the bag, and that's out number 2. Dan Mara is also 0 for 2 today. This has got to be the last inning for Yadier Martinez. There's light action in the bullpen. It's Kozak getting loose for Kitchener. Cade Kozak pitched some big innings over the weekend for the Panthers. Check swing by Mara, did not go. It's been a great start so far for the Panthers righty. A 2-1 to Dan Mara. Low. Oh, called a strike. The 2-2. Mara fouls it off. Between Dan Mara and Jordan Mandalay, we get to watch 2 of the best guys at fouling off tough pitches in the Intercounty Baseball League. There's the 2-2. A little hesitation in the delivery, and it's just outside. Oh, Yadier Martinez approaching the 120 pitch mark, is feeling good still out there on the mound for Kitchener. Couple delivery alterations late in his start. And that one's outside, ball 4. What a take by Dan Mara as he heads down to first base. They'll also appeal just to make sure Dan Mara didn't swing, but first base umpire says he did not, so he'll stay at first, and here's Spencer Ross. Well, Spencer Ross nearly found a gap in his last at-bat, but unfortunately the ball just kind of hung up out there. But the Maple Leafs would, they'd take a ball into the gap and right center if they can get it. Trailing by 5. If you're the Leafs here with a runner on base, you really got to get this one in. Looks like some more rain has entered the radar once again. 40 minutes, that's could be right around the end of this ball game if it keeps going along at the pace it has so far. The 0-2. Upstairs. Well, gotta give the Maple Leafs hitters some credit. They have taken some close pitches from Yadi and Martinez, and they have been correct more often than not, especially in this inning. 1-2 on Ross. He hits one on the ground to Jordan Mandalay. He flips to second, and Yadi and Martinez through 6 innings. If that's the end of his start, 6 innings, 2 runs. And for a guy who came in with an ERA just over 5, well, he's made those numbers quite a bit better here against the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's a 7-2 lead for Kitchener. Well, a pitcher that everybody wants to see at Christie Pitts, Ayami Sato, is on the mound here for the fans here on the hillside. First batter she'll face is Junior Ibarra here to start off the 7th inning. Barra swings and misses at the first pitch from Sato. Yami Sato, if you think back to her debut way back on May 11th, it was the home opener, the first game of the season in the Intercounty Baseball League, was excellent against the Kitchener Panthers, got through 1-2-3 innings to start the ball game. As this one's dished into the outfield, that's down for a base hit. It rolls towards the wall. Junior Ibarra is going to get to second base and then put on the brakes after a wide turn. So we'll see if Yami Sato can work out of this situation as the veteran catcher is able to reach out and poke that ball into the gap. So now Charlie Towers comes to the dish. First pitch to Charlie. It's past a diving Dos Santos. Spencer Ross picks it up. Dos Santos was trying to make a diving catch on that soft liner. It'll go down as a base hit for Towers. Runners on the corners now in the top of the seventh. And if Kitchener scores here, this makes the task quite a lot more difficult for the Maple Leafs, who already have, well, just 9 outs to work with. Rob Butler to the mound to chat with Sato. Well, it's going to be a difficult challenge for Sato to get out of this situation, but we'll probably need a strikeout to do that. She's got 8 of them in the 12 1/3 innings that she's pitched this season. Yami Sato was very good her last time out. A 1-2-3 inning against the Welland Jackfish. First pitch to Fuji, runner goes. Javier throws down, it's right on line. It skips away a couple steps from Spencer Ross, but he's able to keep it close and make sure that runner at third base, Junior Ibarra, isn't able to come home. Now Sato absolutely needs the strikeout here against Fuji. Fuji has struck out twice today. The 1-0. Finds the outside corner, strike one. Fuji 0 for 2, a couple strikeouts. He's walked and also scored. Ruta Osawa is the on-deck batter. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Well, Sato's got 2 strikes. Sato's 1-2. Strike 3 called on the outside corner, and that's out number 1. Ayami Sato gets her 9th punch out of the season, and that's step number 1. Ruta Osawa comes to the dish. Yami Sato trying to escape damage here in the 7th. Osawa swings and misses at the first pitch. Yami Sato in her last outing against the Welland Jackfish pretty much located every single pitch that was called perfectly. The curveball was right at the bottom of the zone, just under the knees when it needed to be. The cutter was right running in on the hands of Welland Jackfish hitters. The 0-1. That one just missed. That's absolutely been the strong suit for Sato. She locates everything almost perfectly. Sato against Osawa. The 1-1. Osawa takes low. John Javier tried to frame that pitch and pull it into the zone for Sato. Two and one now. In the dirt, picked by John Javier. Boy, that little bit of glove work saved a run. Three and one the count now. Base open here for Sato if she wants it. We'll see what happens here against Osawa. The 3-1 pitch. Hit in the air. This one's to center field. Coming in is McInnes. He makes the catch, and there's no throw home. That ball was shallow enough to keep Junior Ibarra at third base. Oh boy, 2 outs in the inning now. Ayami Sato was facing second and third, nobody out. And now can she get the first baseman, AJ Karasis? He's 1 for 3 today, but he struck out 2 times. On deck is Nick Kairos. Marek Deska getting loose in the bullpen for the Maple Leafs. Perfect pitch, placed on the outside corner to Karasis, strike 1. The 0-1 from Sato. Hit on the ground. This one to shortstop, and it skips off the foot of the shortstop, Spencer Ross. 2 runs are going to come in to score as that ball trickles into the outfield. And Sato, who was 1 pitch away, nearly got out of it. Instead, it's the Kitchener Panthers and AJ Karasis who's able to deliver. And it's 9-2. Well, Spencer Ross probably wouldn't have been able to get the runner at first base, even if he did get to that ball. But it was an unfortunate bounce for the Maple Leafs as the ball kicked off his foot, because that allowed another run to come in to score. Boy, Sato might be feeling a little bit hard done by in this outing. There certainly has been some hard contact against her earlier in the season, but in this outing, that's not been the problem. A soft line drive, an infield single somehow scores 2. But now, if you're the Kitchener Panthers, you're feeling a lot more comfortable with this 7-run lead here in the 7th. The 0-1. Marek Deska was getting loose in the bullpen for the Maple Leafs. If he were to come in the 8th, he absolutely has the ability to give the Maple Leafs some length, and hasn't pitched a lot this season, but when he has, he's been extremely effective. The 1-1. Line drive. This one's deep into the outfield, and that one's going to go off the base of the wall. Nick Kairos is heading for second base. Here's the throw in time. He's gunned down at second. Oh, Aiden McCaskey with an absolute rope from the outfield. He played it perfectly off the wall, and he guns down Kairos at second base. Well, that gets the Toronto Maple Leafs out of the inning. A couple runs come in to score for the Kitchener Panthers, and it's 9-2. Maple Leafs needed a boatload of runs here against the Kitchener Panthers, trailing 9-2. They've got the top of the order up right now. Ryan Dos Santos is followed by John Javier and Jordan Castaldo. Dos Santos a big swing at that pitch. Now it's 0-2. Cade Kozak is the new pitcher into the game for the Kitchener Panthers. Kozak comes into this start with an ERA of 18.62 in the 8 games that he's pitched for Kitchener. So things haven't gone great in his first couple outings, but last time out against the Barrie Baycats on Sunday, he looked really good. He went 2 innings, didn't allow anything but a walk, just needed to face 7 batters over 2 innings, and maybe he's found something here for Kitchener. They're giving him another shot here against the Leafs on Wednesday. The 0-2. Just inside. Although the ERA obviously isn't pretty this season for Cade Kozak, it is a bit under characteristic. He pitched for the Hamilton Cardinals last season and was much better at an ERA of 4.90 in 11 innings. The 1-2. Dos Santos swings and misses, strike 3. Good start to the inning for Kozak. Kozak hails out of Summerland, British Columbia, and will now face John Javier. Well, Javier reached base in his last at-bat, so the on-base streak has been increased to 21 in a row. How about that from the Maple Leafs All-Star? Pitch misses outside to Javier. The 1-0. Fouled off. Weatherman Gus is now predicting heavy rain at 10:30 p.m. It's not what we like to hear, Gus. Well, we've got the hatches battened down, and that won't help anything. If it rains heavy, we will probably have to go offline, so apologies for that, but we are at the disposal of the elements up here on the hillside. Light rain we can handle. Heavy rain, we can't. Oh, that's okay, Gus. Swing and a miss by Javier, 1-2. Jordan Castaldo, the on-deck batter, but Javier trying to get on for him here. The 1-2, and a step off by Cade Kozak. I mean, you think about the importance of this outing for Cade Kozak. Was excellent last time out on Sunday. Didn't have a good start to the season. You know, if he can provide a nice clean inning here for the Kitchener Panthers, that will be a huge confidence for the team and him as this one slashed down the line. Oh, man. Brian Sewell and Rob Butler, who were both down the line having a conversation there, had to duck out of the way. John Javier almost took out both of his coaches in one swing. One and two the count now on the free swinging John Javier. And he hits this one in the air. Boy, he went down and got that one, but it's going to hang up for Yosvani Penalve. That's out number 2. Jordan Castaldo to the dish with nobody on. Cade Kozak has got through the first two batters nicely. Not an easy part of the Maple Leafs lineup too with Dos Santos and Javier. But he's able to cut both down. One with a strikeout, one with a flyout. Now he's ahead of Castaldo. The 0-1 pitch. Jordan Castaldo pops this one up. This looks like it's going to stay in play down the third baseline. Fuji comes over in foul territory and makes the catch. It's a 1-2-3. Bottom of the seventh inning for Cade Kozak and the Kitchener Panthers, who lead 9-2 over Toronto. Back here at Dominico Field as the Maple Leafs bring in Marek Deska, and he hits the first batter he faces. Jordan Mandalay to start the inning. Well, that's not a great start to the inning for Marek Deska, but it shouldn't take away from what he's done this season for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's pitched 6 innings to an ERA of 1.50. So he hasn't pitched a ton for Toronto, but man, he's had a really good season this year so far. There goes the runner, throw down, not in time. Oh, man. Mandalay steals another base. I think that might be his third today. Did not slide, just slowed down and cruised into the base. The throw was right on line. He probably would have been out, but fortunately it trailed just a little bit to the left on Javier. The 1-0 now to Zeppieri. Yeah, Mandalay, he's out there trying to get in the head of the pitcher. He's already stolen a base. We had a kind of a sudden movement towards third base as Marek Deska delivered the ball. The 2-0. Ooh. Quick delivery to the plate that time from Deska. And it's 3-0. Zeppieri takes high, ball 4. Hit by pitch and a walk to start the inning for Kitchener. Merrick Deska has been doing it for a long time in the Intercounty Baseball League, and all with the Toronto Maple Leafs. You have to date back to 2006 for his debut with Toronto. If Merrick Deska was able to hold his ERA under 2 this season, which obviously that would require quite the streak to finish out the season from Merrick Deska. But if he's able to hold it around where it was, it'd be a career best since back in 2016. This one's grounded to first. Mara goes to second. Ross throws back to first, but it's not in time. They get the force out at second base, and that's all. Runners on the corners here with 1 away. Merrick Deska with a little bit of history on the line. Probably not today because of this. Oh, as he throws this ball away at first base, a run is going to come in to score for the Kitchener Panthers. Oh, that was unfortunate. I don't think that was a horrible throw from Merrick Deska, but no one was ready. And now the runner's going to go to third base as Deska was had turned around and was talking to the umpire. And now Deska is going to have to look the runner back again. So yeah, Deska just had a quick throw over to first base. And it was odd because the runner Penalve over at first wasn't, like, he was still touching the bag, having a conversation with Mara and the umpire. This one's hit on the ground. Spencer Ross will field it. Throws to first, but a run does come in to score. It's 11-2 now, Kitchener Panthers. Well, that kind of puts the exclamation point on a game that just hasn't gone the Toronto Maple Leafs day today here at Christie Pitts. 11-2 lead for the Kitchener Panthers. A little bit of messy defense on the infield. As the Kitchener Panthers to circle the base path, and they've now opened up a pretty hefty lead here in the top of the 8th. The 1-0 swung on and missed. The 1-1. That one just misses. Charlie Towers ahead in the count, and Towers takes a strike, 2-2. So 2 runs in the inning. Deska has allowed both. One of them goes down as earned, and he does so without giving up a hit this inning. Two and two on Towers. Here's the pitch from Deska. Just low. Full count. Deska looks in, gets his sign from John Javier. A quick delivery to the plate. This one's hit in the air. Charlie Towers has lifted it to left, and that one's caught by Dennis DeBanning, who's moved over to left field, and that'll end the top of the 8th inning. To the bottom half we go here in Toronto. Bottom of the 8th inning, lefty Cade Kozak delivers way outside. Ball 1. The 1-0. DeBanning rips it into the outfield. Down the line, it rolls to the wall. Dennis DeBanning will slide into second base, and he's got himself a double. Wow. Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs are down big in this game, but if there is a positive, Dennis DeBanning is still quite hot. Dennis DeBanning is 3 for 4 with an RBI, and now you can add another double to the ledger as well. And this was kind of the conversation we were having on the broadcast the other day. You know, is it possible for Dennis DeBanning to get the batting average up to 300 after, you know, he really did struggle for a little while? Well, he's hitting .297 this season now. You know, a week or maybe 2 weeks of good baseball from Dennis DeBanning, and now you look at his line, and boy, he's had a great season for the Maple Leafs. Things can change quickly when you're playing well. The 0-1. Justin Mara has DeBanning on second base. Trying to cash him in here in the 8th. Mara takes a strike. Spencer McInnes, who came into the game defensively, is on deck. He's going to get an at-bat. And Kaleo Shaw, who's in the hole, is hopeful that he'll get one as well. Mara swings and fouls that one off of Junior Ibarra. That one might have gone off the forearm of Ibarra. Yeah, I think it definitely did. Well, it certainly didn't feel good, but it looks like Junior Ibarra is going to continue to tough it out behind the dish there. Yeah, Junior Ibarra has kind of had one of those days as a catcher. A couple balls fouled off. A couple off his foot, a couple off his chest protector, and then this time it catches a place that has no protection whatsoever right on the forearm. Yeah, you can kind of see him wincing behind the plate. He's definitely feeling it, but knows he's got to keep going here for Kitchener. 1-2 on Justin Mara. Lefty v lefty here. Mara ticks upstairs. The 2-2. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Justin Mara goes down looking. So first at bat of the day coming up for Spencer McInnes. McInnes last played 10 days ago against the Kitchener Panthers. That was part of a 9-5 win for the Maple Leafs. One 1-0 now on the Maple Leafs' new center fielder. McInnes, big rip and fouls it off. The 1-1. McInnes rips this one foul onto the left hill at Christie Pitts. The wind here still ripping in from center field, knocking down all those fly balls. McInnes fouls it off again. Well, Kozak is tough out for some of these lefties. Struck out Justin Mara. Now making some good pitches here against Spencer McInnes, who's doing all he can just to fight him off. Spencer McInnes is 6 for 32 on the season for the Leafs. Here's the 1-2 pitch. McInnes fouls it off again. This time he almost took out two coaches and a general manager for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That one went into the crowd of Rob Butler, Brian Sewell, and Dustin Richardson. Dustin Richardson was throwing earlier on in this game, maybe hopeful that Maple Leafs would get a lead or at least a situation that he would be needed in, but with the score the way it is, I assume he's no longer in play. The 1-2. McInnes hits this one in the air. This one's deep to left field, but oh man, that wind knocking it down as Zeppieri is able to run it down. Good contact from Spencer McInnes. Should mention 2 of the 6 hits that he has this season are home runs. Both of them came here at Christie Pitts. So another guy that's going to get his first AB of the day, Kaleo Shaw. Shaw is hitting .233 on the season for the Maple Leafs. He's only had 30 at-bats, but he's driven in 3 runs. Throughout that, Dennis DeBanning still standing over there at second base as Shaw takes ball 1. The 1-0. Shaw takes upstairs. Yeah, strong, cool breeze here at Christie Pitts. It started out, it was like 31 degrees outside. It was sweltering hot. Now it's not feeling chilly, but it's definitely cooled off here at the pits. Kind of tell a storm is coming. And everyone here hoping that the rain is able to hold off until this game is finished. The 3-0 pitch to Kaleo Shaw, and there's a strike right down the middle. Yeah, this breeze, as it changes directions, is when it's coming from center field, it's holding a strong smell of a skunk. And when it shifts over towards the left, nice smell of barbecue. I guess someone's having some burgers or something out on the backyard. So Kaleo Shaw fouls it off. Now it's kind of all just skunk. Haven't seen a skunk here at Christie Pitts in a little while. It was a huge problem back in 21 and 22 in the IBL finals. There was multiple delays as there were players chasing around skunks out in center field, and it was an interesting dynamic to what else would be a very tense situation in elimination games in the finals. If you're new to the Intercounty Baseball League, obviously that sounds like it's just a complete lie, but it's not. It happened. Cleo Shaw fouling off some more tough pitches here from Kozak. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Shaw hits it sky high. That probably would have gone foul anyway, but the wind helping it onto the hill. This will be a 9-pitch at bat here for Shaw against Kozak. Here's the 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. It was a good battle between Kozak and Shaw, but it's Kozak who gets the better of this one. And he's got through 2 scoreless innings again for his side, the Kitchener Panthers. It's an 11-2 lead for Kitchener here in Toronto. Well, here's what's coming up for the Toronto Maple Leafs. 2 more home games to round out this hefty home schedule in the month of July for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We'll have the next game here on YouTube against the Hamilton Cardinals, and then we're back here on the 23rd again against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers before the Toronto Maple Leafs finally play a road game against the Barrie Bay Cats. So a couple games the Maple Leafs want to win. They're probably not going to win this one here against Kitchener. Jeremy Newton is now into the game for the Maple Leafs, but home plate umpire is working on the lineup card or something there, so I think there might be a pinch hitter coming in here for the Kitchener Panthers as well. So Caleb Kane Plant is going to come into the game. I think that would be, I think we're back to the leadoff spot here for Kitchener, so I think it would be Jordan Mandalay. There's definitely some kind of confusion with the lineup card, maybe like someone's number or something like that, but looks like they've got it all sorted out. Oh. So on the lineup cards, it's kind of those 3 papers on top of each other, and then when you write on the top card, it's like the actual pencil, and then the 3 below that are copies. So we're thinking that maybe the copy paper was too hard to see. So Caleb Kane Plant is hitting .250 on the season, gets his first at-bat of the game here in the top of the 9th inning. Caleb Kane-Plant hails out of Sudbury, Ontario, and swings and misses at that pitch. Jeremy Newton gets the strikeout. 1 away here in the 9th. Jeremy Newton has been excellent for the Toronto Maple Leafs this season. Has an ERA of 3.08 and 12 2/3 innings pitched. Yeah, new batter. Don't know who it is. Trent Lawson at the plate. Spoke way too soon. No, I think it is. Here's the 1-1. That pitch misses outside. Trent Lawson started last time the Kitchener Panthers were here at Christie Pitts. The 2-1 pitch. Well outside from Newton. Jeremy Newton has pitched almost exclusively at Christie Pitts this season as Lawson pops this one straight up. Ryan Dos Santos is calling for it on the infield, and he circles under it and makes the catch. And that's out number 2. Newton's pitched in 9 games, 7 of them here at Dominico Field. So he knows this mound now pretty well in his rookie season in the IBL. One and one now on AJ Karasis. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Jeremy Newton, pitch away from getting through a 1-2-3 frame here in the top of the 9th. This one's lifted foul. Over to the left. Looks like Danny Garcia is getting set to come into this game for the Kitchener Panthers. This one's popped up to the left. Dos Santos circling under another one, and then a sliding play, and it's caught. Oh, man. Spencer Ross disappeared under the members' lounge tent, but he made the catch from shortstop on a slide. That was a great catch from Spencer Ross for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that'll end the top of the 9th inning. 3 outs to play with for Toronto when we come back here at Dominico Field. Well, here's what's on the docket for the Kitchener Panthers. A game against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, followed by the Welland Jackfish, and then the Barrie Baycats. Hey, look what's happening for the Kitchener Panthers. Another 3-3 weekend after this one game during the week on Wednesday. Oh yeah, I guess it would be 4-4. Friday or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. After tonight. Yeah, never mind. Sorry. Got that wrong. So they play tomorrow and then a day off, and then it's Barrie on the 19th. So 2 games in a row, but still not easy. Oh. Okay, sorry, we don't know. But that was a strikeout there. Danny Garcia, who's into the game, gets the strikeout. Point streak and the league website are dueling it out on whether there's a game on the 18th or not. Well, Spencer Ross, who made a great catch to end the 9th, now pops one to left and coming in and making a catch. Boy, you can see these balls are really getting knocked down as Matteo Zeppieri had to sprint to stay with it. Zeppieri, Lawson, and Penalve is now the new outfield for Kitchener. Maple Leafs down to their final out. Big hesitation in delivery of Garcia there, and that's strike 1. Kane Plant comes in, and he's going to play third base. Mandalay at second, or at shortstop, Charlie Towers at second, and A.J. Karasis at first. Also a new catcher into the game for the Kitchener Panthers is Ansare behind the dish. Saw him last time. The Kitchener Panthers were here at Christie Pitts as well. Sayad Ansari. Here's the 1-1. Dos Santos chops it on the ground, foul towards first base. 7 pitches so far for Danny Garcia. 6 of them have been strikes. Garcia comes into this outing with an ERA of 7.13 on the season and 17 2/3 innings pitched, but he struck out quite a few batters over that stretch. The 1-2, Ryan Dos Santos lines this one towards center field. Trent Lawson coming over, dives, and he makes the catch. And that will end the ball game. The Kitchener Panthers, with an exclamation point by Trent Lawson, take down the Toronto Maple Leafs by a final score of 11-2. They had 10 hits, and they were efficient, scored 11 runs, while the Toronto Maple Leafs just got 2 runs on 5 hits and had a couple errors in the ball game. But like the big performance today, that would have been from Yadian Martinez, who really rolled on the mound for the Maple Leafs. Gave up 2 earned runs over 6 innings, struck out 3, walked 5, but was able to get out of danger. It was kind of a turning point in the first inning, had the bases loaded. Maple Leafs scored 1, but he was able to limit the damage, and then the Panthers picked him up from there and scored 11 over the remainder of the ball game. For myself, Thomas West, thanks so much for tuning in here. The final score, 11-2 Kitchener.